G'day guys, welcome back to Reach Me or Teach Me. This one's just another YouTube wormhole recommendation popped up on the little side feed that I get, and I thought, you know what, usually when these 10 or 15 things you don't know about XYZ, I usually know most of them, but I can just about guarantee I'm not going to know any of these, so this should be an interesting one. Let's get amongst it. Why is it muted? Let's go, folks.
There's a lot about the NFL you definitely don't know. Futuristic technology implanted in the pigskin, a game ending due to a beer bottle barrage, and the most unique
Hold up, that shit's loud ass. Hang on. Try that.
MVP you've never heard of. Here are 15 of the wildest things you didn't know about the NFL. And at number 15 is a stadium catastrophe. In 2010, the Vikings had to move a game on game day to an arena nearly 700 miles away because the original plans for the
700 miles? There's no other suitable stadiums within a 700-mile radius? What the hell?
game completely fell through. In the middle of the night, a foot and a half of snow crashed through the roof, avalanching onto the barren field.
Wow.
The wildest part, that was the 5th time the Metrodome's roof had collapsed.
Wow. How have they not got some engineers in to fix the problem 5 times? What the
What's even crazier is what we have at number 14. You probably think America's most popular TV broadcast is something like
I'm still blown away by the fact that it was 700 miles away. Why the hell did they not have any other stadiums? That's a hell of a long distance.
The Bachelor, with almost 10 million viewers. Except that's like 100 million viewers short of the record.
Hang on. Let me go back.
What we have at number 14. You probably think America's most popular TV broadcast is something like The Bachelor, with almost 10 million viewers.
The Bachelor?
Except that's like 100 million viewers short of the record. The most viewed is Super Bowl 49, 114 million viewers. In fact, the big game has 29 out of the top 30 most watched TV broadcasts in U.S. history. The only non-Super Bowl in the top 30, the final episode of MASH in 1983. But the ending of MASH isn't the only tragedy. At number 30,
So 29 out of the top 30 spots. That doesn't surprise me at all. It surprises me that the final episode of MASH, when you think of what the population was, I suppose the difference is then everybody watched the same show because there was only a certain amount of channels. There wasn't that much good TV. There wasn't all these different cable networks and things. No Netflix and all that jazz. So I suppose that, and it's the series ran forever, fantastic show, but yeah, that's kind of random.
13 is Cleveland's Orlando Brown, who was one of the highest paid offensive linemen in the entire league. Then, December 19th, 1999 happened. Against Jacksonville, referee Jeff Triplett chucked a penalty flag directly into Brown's right eye. He was left partially blind and sued the NFL for $200 million since Cleveland dropped him after the injury. They settled for $25 million, but Brown missed 3 seasons and was never the same. And number 12.
That's incredible. Imagine having your career completely derailed by a referee's flag. Man.
12 is something you definitely didn't know has become an essential part of the football itself. You know how you're able to see next-gen stats while watching from home? Well, in 2015, the league started testing out a new technology in the pigskin. There are chips, not those kind of chips, microchips in the football that detect how far the ball traveled and the speed in which it traveled. The chipped footballs are only accurate to within 6 inches of the actual spot, and they don't account for the player's knee or elbow being down. So it's mainly just used for data collection and marking things like punts out of bounds for now. But the chain gang might want to start looking for a new job because the technology is only getting better. But
I'm kind of surprised that's taken that long, to be honest. I think he said 2015. That's not that long ago. But I suppose, just thinking about the technological advances in our sports here, and they've only been recent as well, the last 10 years or so.
the NFL commissioner never needs to worry about another job. Taking us to number 11. Roger Goodell makes more than every player. Yes, more than the $500 million man himself, Patrick Mahomes, and even the newly highest paid NFL player in league history by annual amount, Lamar Jackson, who makes a lowly $52 million a season.
Oh, is that all? Poor bugger. He's on my list, everybody. I was having this conversation with one of my viewers today, and I just don't know the current players, especially the younger ones, I feel like it's not fair to react to their highlight reels, if you'd like, at this stage, because they haven't had that full highlight career to react to. But there's some really good young players like Jackson, like Josh Allen, that are on my list to react to. But if you've got a really good video that demonstrates their skills, let me know.
Since 2021, Roger Goodell has averaged $64 million per year. And
what does he do for $64 million a year? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the job's got its challenges, but $64 million a year?
Now, for number 10, we're talking about arguably the worst fan behavior in NFL history. Did you know that a game once ended because fans were launching unidentified flying objects onto the field? In 2001, Cleveland needed a win to remain in the playoff picture, but trailed Jacksonville 15-10 with just a minute left. On fourth down, Tim Couch found Quincy Morgan for the first down, even though it looked like Morgan lost control of the ball. Cleveland
That looked like
Couch
a fair
found
catch to
Quincy
me.
Morgan for
So he's got full control of the ball.
the first down, even though it looked like Morgan lost
hang
control
on.
of the ball.
It's because he's not downed when he essentially doesn't have... Okay, so now he's downed and he doesn't have control. So the hit kind of forced the fumble. Okay.
Cleveland quickly spiked the ball, but the
So they knew that the call was wrong. Oh, get out of it, Cat. Sorry. Cat's in here, mess it up again. You're a problem. You see that? You're a problem.
officials still reviewed the fourth
even
down
started the
play
video
and
for me.
overturned
Jesus
it. A
Christ.
blatant illegal call
Wait,
as
what's
another
happening?
play
What is
had
all
already
this
been
shit?
run.
Oh,
This
Cat. Okay, sorry about that. So they knew it was a bad call. They knew that he'd lost control of it. And they quickly spiked the ball to basically make the next play count so the refs couldn't go back and...
lost control of the ball. Cleveland quickly spiked the ball, but the officials still reviewed the fourth down play and overturned it. A blatant illegal call as another play had already been run.
Wow. Referees making a bit of appearance in this one. 2 times already.
This cost Cleveland the game, so the hometown fans bombarded the field with beer bottles. The players and officials quickly ran off the field with time still on the clock in fear of being pelted, but the league office wasn't having it. They informed the teams that they had to get back out on the field and finish the game. So each team sent out 11 random players to run a couple of QB meals and get out of there. I don't know whose idea it was to provide the Cleveland faithful with beer bottles as ammo, but that was never going to end well. And because of this, many stadiums across the country banned the sale of beer in bottles, and the event is now infamously known as the Bottlegate. And that's
It's the same here. If you haven't watched it, go check out my State of Origin video that I did yesterday. Same thing. We used to have cans and bottles available at the stadiums, and it doesn't go well. You mix alcohol, extreme passion from these sports fans, and then you get a dodgy decision or you get a really shitty play from one of your players, and some people just can't hold themselves. They just cannot hold themselves back. So it's something that, while it's controversial, to be honest, it's needed. It's just, people in their right mind don't throw beer bottles even when they're pissed off. But when you've had a bit of Dutch courage, you're not scared. You just go at it. And all it takes is one idiot, and then it just starts everybody off. So, yeah, look, not going to lie, that's the same, I think, across all of our stadiums here. I don't think you can buy any form of alcohol that isn't in like a plastic cup. But yeah.
That's almost as insane as the idea that sparked number 9. Did you know that there used to be a separate football league outside of the United States? And huge names played there. In 1991, the NFL established a 10-team European league, ironically naming it the World League of American Football, later changing it to...
I mean, that's what it is. I was going to say that's like a typically arrogant thing of an American sports person. Like, it pisses me off that your baseball series is called the World Series. It's a domestic competition. It's not a World Cup. Don't get me wrong, you guys are head and shoulders above the rest of the world, and whoever wins that is technically the best baseball club in the world. But they say, we're world champions. No, you've competed domestically amongst Americans, and you've won the American championship. Yes, guarantee you're the best baseball club in the world. But it's just that, Like, if you step out of America for a second, step out of your mindset of American, step out to the rest of the world. And that's that perceived arrogance that comes across. And it's like, I know it's not intentional or malicious. It's this sort of thing. But in saying that, the World League of American Football, it is American football. So that's kind of justified. I get that.
NFL Europe in 1998. It was designed as a developmental program, much like the G League for the NBA. The biggest names that were part of this league include Kurt Warner, Jake Delhomme, Adam Vinatieri, and even Terry Crews.
Hey!
But in 2007, the league fizzled out because the
It ain't easy being cheesy.
games were simply just not fun to watch, and they were losing $30 million a year. And quality over quantity is the reason number 8 came to be. In 1999, the dollars league fizzled.
Too busy Terry cruising there for a minute, so what? It fizzled out.
Warner, Jake Delhomme, Adam Vinatieri, and even Terry Crews. But in 2007, the league fizzled out because the games were simply just not fun to watch, and they were losing $30 million a year. And quality over quantity is the reason number 8 came to be. In 1999, the New Orleans Saints traded every single pick they had for one very unique player. The backstory is so ridiculous that ESPN even made a hilarious magazine cover with that player and Saints head coach Mike Ditka together because of the lengths that were taken. New Orleans draft that year consisted of 6 total picks, but it gets crazier. One of those picks was already the number 12 overall spot in the draft, but that wasn't high enough to get the player they wanted. So New Orleans traded all 6 picks and a first and third rounder for the next draft to Washington for just the number 5 overall pick. Then the Saints drafted Ricky Williams, a running back. People lose their minds when running backs go in the first round these days. Could you imagine trading your entire draft for one? As expected, this ended horribly, as the Saints went 3-13 that year, and Mike Ditka was fired.
I bet. I have no idea of the context of the running back being taken in the first round. Obviously, they're not seen as like a pivotal clutch type game-winning player or position. I'm not sure. But to give up your entire future for one player, that's a big risk no matter who that player is. And it's not like they traded for a seasoned vet that was proven performer and was going to step in and was absolutely going to be that piece that they were missing. They took a punt on a rookie
after the season. But our next fact at number 7 shows way more sacrifice. Green Bay Packers fans have waited nearly a whole lifetime to get season tickets. Literally, the current wait list for these tickets is over 140,000 people, and only 70 to 100 new tickets are handed out each year. So some of these fans have waited over 50 years to get a hold of these precious tickets. At that rate, you'd have a better chance of actually playing in the NFL. And that takes us to number 6. If you're from
Why season tickets? If you've got to wait 50 years, why not just buy regular tickets and go? You guys must have a different system to us over here. Like, season tickets for our things are cool and great, but they don't give you any like extraordinary benefit over a normal ticket holder. I just don't understand why you would wait up to 50 years. I'm missing something for sure.
From one very specific island, you are over 50 times more likely to play in the NFL than anyone else. American Samoa is an island with a population under 60,000
Troy Polamalu
people. Yet, there are more than 30 players of Samoan descent in the NFL today, and over
I'm pretty sure he was the first bloke that popped up when I
in the NFL than anyone else. American Samoa is an island with a population under 60,000 people. Yet,
that's Troy, isn't it?
there are more than 30 players of Samoan descent in the NFL today, and over 200 playing Division I college football. That would be like 30 NFL players coming out of Youngstown, Ohio. Oh, you've never heard of that city? Yeah, that's the point. According to CBS News, a Samoan male is 56 times more likely to play in the NFL than any other American.
And there's something about the Pacific Islanders. They're huge in our rugby codes down here as well. There's something about their natural size, their natural physicality, and a lot of them have this natural athleticism too. I will say that they are known for being brutal, fast, tough, strong players, but not known for being particularly high IQ players. I'm sure there are exceptions to that rule, but most of the Pacific Islanders that we have in our sports here are, again, big, hard runners. They're not the playmakers, and they're not the quarterback type players. I don't know if that's different in the NFL, but there's something about their natural physicality and their natural joy of the game. I think it is like they seem to produce some great highlight plays and some brilliant flashy stuff, and then they also produce some serious facepalm moments where you just think, what were you thinking? One simple pass and that was easy score. But yeah, there's just no denying it. Pacific Islands have, like, Fijians, which I don't know that you guys get a lot over there, but man, can those boys run! Shit, they are fast. And then again, you get the Samoans and the Tongans, and they're just literally built like fridges with legs. Yeah, something about the Pacific Island territory that breeds incredible specimens.
No wonder they call it Football Island. Now, for number 5, we think the NFL sent out the wrong script with this one. This had to be a mean joke when they wrote this guy in as league MVP. This player is the only person in NFL history to win MVP at this position. In 1982, Washington's Mark Moseley set a record, making 20 out of 21 field goals, 95.2%. Yes, a kicker won the NFL's Most Valuable Player Award. The funniest part, that same year, Washington won Super Bowl 17, but Moseley missed 4 field goals during that playoff run. And
I'm just going to go back to that.
Won Super Bowl 17, but Moseley...
Interesting. So again, if you haven't watched my State of Origin video, have a quick check out of that. One of the things I mentioned is that when we take our conversions, which are basically our extra points, we have to take the kick from wherever the try was scored. So if the try was scored right out near the sideline, that's where the kick's got to be made as well. Whereas you guys pretty much, from what I can tell, always line up directly in front of the posts. And something I've just noticed, his boot is completely flat at the top. Now, I've never seen any sort of shoe, let alone a football shoe, that is completely flat at the top. And it demonstrates a huge difference in the kicking styles. You guys will toe punt your field goals. Essentially straight, like he's done. He's kicking straight. We tend to kick it a little bit more like a soccer ball. There's a bit more of a round-legged action. And essentially, you kick it with your laces. You kick the ball with the top of your foot. Excuse me. Which again creates curve and a little bit of this and that. But interesting, because we have rounded toes on our football boots, so toe punt's not really an option because it skews off to the left or the right if you don't get it absolutely perfect. Interesting. Just subtle little differences like that.
Moseley missed 4 field goals during that playoff run. And at number 4, we have the Buffalo Bills, who not only struggled against one very specific division, but in the worst way possible. From 1990...
You know what? I'm going to do a video on rugby and rugby league kickers so you can see the difference. Because that's a particular skill, especially in rugby, because penalties are actually worth 3 points in rugby, so you can take a penalty kick from basically anywhere on the field, but good kickers will make it anywhere within their half. So in rugby in particular, the kicker is responsible for probably winning more games than any other player, if I'm being honest, because the penalties are so important. And that can be one of the worst things about rugby. I think they need to rearrange their scoring system, because the game can turn into a really boring kick fest, because penalties are worth 3 points and a try is only worth 5. So if you can take a guaranteed 3 points over maybe not getting 5, most teams will take that guaranteed 3 points every time they go up the field. So there's entire rugby games where no tries are scored by the winning team. The other team will score 2 tries, but because this team's had 5 penalties, they win. 2 tries, 5 points each, 10 points. 2 conversions, 2 points each, puts them at 14 points. 5 penalties, 5 times 3 is 15. And for me, it's a broken facet of rugby, and they need to fix that.
To 1994, Buffalo played in 4 straight Super Bowls, lost every single one, and it was all to teams.
Like, can you imagine if your field goals were worth 3 points? Nobody's going to try for a touchdown. You can take a field goal every time you get within range. It's just a broken mechanic.
In the same division. They lost to the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys twice. They could just not figure out the NFC East, and they haven't made it to the big game since. But this Buffalo played in 4 straight in the worst way possible. From 1990 to 1991.
Wait a minute, I've got to go back. Where's this?
Yes, set a record, making 20 out of 21 field goals, 95.2%. Yes, a kicker won the NFL's Most Valuable Player Award. The funniest part, that same year, Washington won NFL's Most Valuable.
Is that flat? It must be. It doesn't look like a flat boot there, but...
Player Award. The funniest part, that same year, Washington won Super Bowl 17, but Mosley missed 4 field goals during that playoff run. And at number 4, we have the Buffalo Bills, who not only struggled against one very specific division, but in the worst way possible. From 1990 to 1994, Buffalo played in 4 straight Super Bowls, lost every single one, and it was all to teams in the same division. They lost to the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys twice. They could just not figure out the NFC East, and they haven't made it to the big game since. But this next team wasn't even winning playoff games. At number 3 is the team that set the winless playoff drought record that still stands to this day. This team has literally moved to more cities than playoff games they've won, moving from Chicago to St. Louis and finally to where they reside today, Arizona. In 1998, they finally won in the postseason, beating the Cowboys 20-7. Over the course of 50 years, the Cardinals won 0 playoff games. But hey, by this time, some Green Bay Packers fans could finally start getting...
Okay. Jeez, that must have been hard to be a fan. I'm sitting here about to burn my bloody Celtics jersey after yesterday's shithouse performance. 50 years without a playoff win. Oh my god, that's some loyal fans. I'll take my hat off to you.
Season tickets. And if you think that was horrible, number 2 is horrific. Why? Because it's related to the Chicago Bears. The Bears hold some of the weirdest records, but this one takes the cake. Every single other franchise in the league has a quarterback that has accomplished this next feat, except for the Bears. They are the only NFL team without a 4,000-yard passer. The closest they ever got was in 1995, when Eric Kramer threw for 3,838 yards. Who will be the first Windy City Signal caller to break this curse? But all of this is nothing compared to the absurdity we have at number 1. There's absolutely no way that you know the astronomically young age of the youngest Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee. Keep in
19.
mind that you have to be at least 5 years removed from your playing career to even...
Okay. I'm going to say he played till he was 22, so I'm going to say he's 27.
Be eligible for Canton. Now, with that said, who's the youngest player? Ironically, he was a Chicago Bear, but a running back, Gale Sayers. He played just 7 seasons, from 1965 to 1971, was the NFL's leading rusher twice, and was a 5-time first-team All-Pro. Then, in 1977, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame at just 34 years young, a feat that could remain until...
So I was a fair way off, but still, when you got to be removed 5 years... Yeah.
Back forever.
Okay, well that was cool. I enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned a few things that you didn't know too. So I'm definitely going to do a kicking video. Hopefully you guys check that out because our kicking styles are so unique and so different compared to your kicking styles. And I'm going to say that our kickers are better than your kickers. Sorry, but you'll see why if you watch the video. See you in the next one.